All right, happy Tuesday. It is May 12th, 2020, and I am excited to say that yesterday, actually, May 11th, is the podcast's 2-year anniversary, so congratulations. Here we go.
Yeah, hey.
Get a little
congratulations to you. This is your baby.
No, yeah, but you've been there, man. You've been there through the thick of things. I mean, I think you came on around episode 25 or 30. I can't really remember. I should probably go back and look at that. But
yeah, I don't remember either.
I appreciate you helping me out, man, and doing this. And
yeah, of course.
And I've had a ton of fun doing it, and I think it's just getting better. You know, I think every week's getting better. Too. I think you and I are kind of finding our stride a little bit more. It's taken a little bit of time, but I think it's getting better. We're getting a lot of cool, good feedback from listeners in the you know, the listenership, I guess you could say, kind of like viewership is growing. So I'm super pumped about that.
Yeah, I know it's. You sent me a message the other day from someone on Instagram. I think it was an Instagram message or somebody text you.
It was an Instagram message, a direct message, Instagram. Yeah.
No, it was just one of those, you know, a random listener that reached out to say, hey, you know, thanks for what you guys do. I love it. It's awesome. And stuff like that is really what it kind of makes a difference. It lets you know, like, that you matter, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. Like, you started doing this for fun, just to kind of bullshit with buddies and talk to some people, you know, in the business, other hunters, and, you know, whatever the case may be. But it's nice to know that people are grabbing a hold of it, you know, and appreciate it and are learning from it, for that matter. So it's awesome to see that kind of stuff. Yeah,
it is. And it's not that we need, you know, I guess you could say, we don't need like a pat on the ass really, but it's just nice to know that people are following it and it's, you know, it's working. Like, they enjoy listening to your content, and my voice is terrible, so they like to enjoy listening to our voices, I guess. But no, it's cool to hear every once in a while, and I appreciate it. And while we're on the subject, I guess if you guys could please just go to iTunes or wherever and subscribe to the podcast, which is really helpful. And on iTunes, Apple Podcasts or iTunes, there's like you can rate the podcast, so it's 1 through 5. It's the stars at the bottom, and if you could hit that 5-star, appreciate that if you would. So it goes a long way.
Always helps.
Yep, it does. Today we have a really good podcast on it, and it didn't derail, but we had like an outline we kind of wanted to do, but we ended up going down a different route, which was very good conversation though. We have Byron Horton from Whitetail Experience on, and we talk a lot about production. We do get into some deer hunting stuff, but a lot about production. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I did too. It's nice to have these kind of talks with people, especially, you know, someone like Byron who's got some legs with YouTube, for that matter. I mean, he's pushing, I'm looking at 2,600 subscribers, and he's got a ton of videos on here for Whitetail Experience. And just to talk to somebody who is just doing this to do it, you know, he's not, I say he's not like us, but he is. Like, his career is not production.
Yeah, he still works a 9 to 5.
Right, and he's doing this stuff with, I don't want to say minimalist camera gear, but he understands, you know, what he can do with the equipment he's got. He knows what he needs to do to elevate his production if he wanted to, but he's self-filming and he's kicking ass with it. So it's cool to have these conversations because he edits, he shoots video, and obviously he's a damn good hunter. So it's a fun conversation. Yeah,
he's hunts a lot of public land, and he's killed some really good deer on public land, self-filming. So we kind of get into that, and I agree. I mean, he's a solid guy. Talks real well, you know, he can keep a good conversation going, and, you know, he's basically taught himself how to do the production side of things. And, you know, I don't know if everybody out there listens to like the DeQuisto series podcast on Working Class Bow Hunter. It's a sub-series off of that, but like with Andre and Cody DeQuisto, you know, Andre back in the day started Lone Wolf Treestands, and they actually started a TV show back in the day called Whitetail Addictions. and it ran for a little while, and then they stopped it, and now they're bringing it back. So he is actually editing and producing those Whitetail Addictions shows that are going to be on YouTube. So I'm excited to see those. They're going to start rolling out, I think he said like midsummer. So it'd be cool to see those. A lot of big deer dying from the DeQuistos and, and their team. So that's cool. I'm happy for him, excited for him. And, I like watching his stuff and, networking. I think we just found a new friend, he's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, for sure. I looking forward to the chance to meet him face to face one day somewhere. Yep,
definitely. I agree. We do have I do have something to say before we get into what happened to you last week. But everybody out there that's listening that had made an order for the Fall Podcast sweatshirts and hats, those had just come in. Just a little update here. They had just come in because the COVID, all that stuff, the supplier, it's really hard to get things coming in, and they're just bringing their workers back to work. So everything is still a go. It's just coming in, and then it's got to get printed and embroidered. So it's going to be a little bit, but I just want to update you guys. So if you're listening to this and you had ordered something, it's coming. Don't worry. I will keep everybody updated, and just wanted to ease everybody's mind on that. So I guess with that being said, let's spend a little bit of time here, a couple minutes maybe on your turkey hunt last year, because last week. You were successful, man, and it was a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I won't go into every step of the process, but I decided to hunt and not film it. Allie decided not to go, went by myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to haul a blind in there. And honestly, it's boring, but it's what you have to do to pull off self-filming a turkey hunt. I mean, there's no other way around it. You can't do it outside of a blind.
Yep.
You can, but man, you need to be more lucky than good at that point, I feel like. So I was like, you know what, I've been filming every weekend for the past month. I filmed my bow hunt when I shot that turkey, didn't find it. I filmed Allie's kill. Like, I'm down to one tag. Like, it's the last weekend I can hunt. Like, I'm just going to go hunt. So, one hen decoy, 12 gauge. I mean, I didn't even take a GoPro, nothing. And I just went out there and it was nice, man. I just went to hunt.
Good for you. I'm happy for you.
I was happy too, but man, it felt so nice. But I'll tell you, it was like there was this looming feeling of guilt because
that you didn't have a camera.
The hunt was, yeah. I felt like I did something wrong. Like, here I am trying to, grow my own YouTube channel, and I'm putting all my effort into editing my stuff and filming my hunts, and here I am justifying not filming. I'm like, this is like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And then I ended up killing the bird, and I was like, man, that was a fun hunt. Like, so I just set him up I did it on the tailgate back at the house with a few props, and I just gave a quick 3-minute interview, and I shot a bunch of B-roll clips and took pictures on my phone in the field, and that's it. I edited a 5-minute video for that and at least put something out about it. But I'll tell you what, I had some people comment and engage on it that said, it's cool to hear you just hunt. Like, I don't care about not seeing the kill. Like, just go push reset. Go do you for a day, and people still appreciated that, so it was cool.
Yep. No, I agree. And when you sent me the Snapchat of that bird over your shoulder walking out, I was like, yep, he redeemed himself. That's awesome. And I didn't even care if you had it on film or not. I was just happy to see you successful and get the monkey off your back and call her a season. So that's good. You got 2020 kicked off right.
Yeah, I hope it continues, but it was. I'll tell you the quick rundown of the hunt. It was silent birds. I went in there. I left late. I didn't get to the farm until like almost 7 o'clock, so I missed fly down. I didn't hear any gobbles, but I just went and sat down in this same little bottom that we've been hunting with Allie, and I put a single hen decoy out, a lookout hen, and I just sat there. I sat there for an hour and a half, and I just did a couple calls on the slate every 15, 20 minutes. No response. And I'm just sitting there, just listening to the birds, and had some deer walk in the field, and I'm just sitting there just taking it in. Like, no camera, I'm just thinking, and by myself and just enjoying the shit out of it. And all of a sudden I hear drumming, and I was like, what the hell? And like I'm doing like the slow head turn, like my eyes are like cranked over in the corner of my eye sockets trying to see around
starting to get
corner.
a headache.
Right. And I'm like, where the hell is this bird? And I'm looking, and all of a sudden I catch movement, and it's the hen. It's a hen. And then I hear I hear him start spitting, and I'm like, he's right here. Like, so I was set up like on the backside of this big like multiflora rose bush, and it was right inside the edge of the field. So it was basically like a screen, like a shield, and they came from behind that bush. And I looked over, and that tom is full strut. I could just hear his wings just like dragging on the ground, and he's like 8 steps away from me. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to walk right over my feet. Like, this hen breaks out, and she's like, I bet you she's 4 feet from the end of my gun barrel. And like, so close, like one of those times where you're like, if I move my eyeball, she's going to see that.
Yep.
Like, they're going to see me move. My eyeball's going to move. So I'm sitting there like trying to be as still as I can. And she putts once, and she turns around, and then they quarter up into the woods behind me. The tom never came into my shooting lane, I guess if you want to call it that, and he's behind this big bush still. So I let him work off up the timber behind me, and still not gobbling. And I was like, okay. Well, he just saw my single hen decoy. That hen drug him up into the woods, and I'm like, this is how it's supposed to happen. So I gave him like 5 minutes, and I went and grabbed that decoy, and I was like, I'm just going to start stalking this thing. So then I start cutting real hard on a mouth call and just being super loud, just like annoying. And he fires off immediately. And he's just on this bench up there, like 40 yards above where I was set up. And I just start belly crawling, like hands and knees, belly crawling, and I'm scratching the leaves, and I'm making purring noises with my mouth. And he's just gobbling at every noise I make. And then I get up onto this blowdown. Like, this tree had split off, and the log is still sticking up. It's still rooted, so it's like it's broke off like 3 feet off the ground. And I get to that tree that's broken, and I pull the binoculars up, and I spot the hen, and then I see the tip of his fan, and he's on the bench. She's working up the ridge, and he's coming right to me, and I was like, oh, baby. So he starts gobbling, like saying, hey, where'd you go? And I just quick do a couple of yelps. And he fires off again, and I hear him go into strut. Like, he's this close. I can hear him drumming again. And he let that hen work off, and he come looking for me. And I guess I just made the right decision. Like, I knew he had seen that single decoy. That's how it's supposed to happen. Hens are supposed to go to the tom. So I worked my way into range, and he broke away, and I shot him at like 25 yards with a 3.5-inch number 5.
That's awesome. And that's like, you got within that bubble, though, I think. That bubble of like, okay, I have to go over there and investigate this. That's what he's thinking. I totally agree with that. That's awesome. To be able to basically stalk a turkey through the timber, get up on him, pull him away from his hen, his live hen for a fake hen,
right,
and get it done, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was just cool because like he actually gobbled. Like, he was responding to the calls. And like, I always like equate turkey hunting to you are constantly presented with a series of decisions when you're turkey hunting, and you have to make all the right decisions, or else you're not going to kill that turkey. And it's one of those hunts where it was like I was by myself. There was no conversation about it. There was no like, hold on, I got to get a shot. Like, no fucking around. Just
go.
Just go. And I made the right decisions, and I was like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. Like, this is why I needed this. I needed this day.
Yep.
That's it.
Definitely. That's cool, man. Well, congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you.
So I guess before we do get into this podcast, one last thing. I got some housekeeping things I want to do here. I got some promo codes for everybody, and then I do want to plug Justin's YouTube channel. Go to Justin Fabian's YouTube channel and subscribe, watch his videos, and also go. Yeah. And also go to our YouTube channel, which is Kiefer Brothers _Humanimal. Watch those videos. Subscribe if you haven't. Some awesome content on there. You got quarantine going on right now and all that other stuff to do. Michigan just found out again we're a stay-at-home ban until the 28th of May now, so I'm going to be home for a while longer. So yeah, go to those two YouTube channels, subscribe, and watch that. And then for the codes, I got a hunter safety system code. And if you guys want to save 20% off of the site, like anything on the site, the code is KieferBros19. So type in KieferBros19 at checkout and you'll get 20% off. Next is VaporTrail, so 10% off the site for VaporTrail. And it's KieferBros19 as well. So go there, check out, do the same thing. Next one is Banks Outdoors. So Banks makes like these unbelievable blinds, and they make like ice fishing shanties and stuff like that. For 10% off of their store, type in Keef19, Keef 19. The next one is America's Best Bowstrings, 10% off your orders, $99 off. Or that didn't sound right. You get 10%
99 and over.
Yes, 10% off your orders, $99 and over. Just type in Humanimal 20 at checkout and get that discount. So that'd be helpful to go do that. And lastly, Millennium Treestands. So Millennium makes some unbelievable tree stands. Their seats on their tree stands, in my opinion, are the most comfortable seats on any tree stand out there. So to get 5% off of that store, type in KB5 and you get that. So there it is. We can keep the lights on this week. So we're good to go there. And go to the YouTube channels, check those out. And with that long, lengthy intro, go check out this interview with Byron. So let's kick it over there, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week, and stay healthy and stay safe out there. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Fall Podcast, and today we have Byron Horton from the Whitetail Experience. Byron, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you actually wanting to come on and talk a little bit, and I'm excited to get going. I've kind of saw you from afar, and we followed each other on Instagram for a while, and I've seen some of your YouTube stuff, but I really want to dive in more to what you're doing. I've been listening to the DeQuisto series podcast, from Working Class Bow Hunter, and actually found out that you're producing the Whitetail Addictions series that they're going to bring back. So I'm pretty stoked about that, and I want to dive into that a little bit today with a plethora of other things as also. I mean, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Love to talk hunting, love to talk media, and a little bit of both.
For sure, and that's something Justin and I can do a little bit, is talk media. Whether it's right or wrong, we like to bullshit about it, so we can talk your ear off about that. And that's something, honestly, Justin and I haven't really dove into, a lot lately. We have in the, the prior, Justin, it's probably been like a good year since we've actually talked about any production stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, seems like it.
We probably need to get back into that.
Longer than it should be, I know that.
Yeah, yep. So let's make today's a good starting point where we can get back into that. So before we get too far, though, for everybody out there that doesn't know who you are and what you're doing, can you just kind of explain what Whitetail Experience is and who you are and how you started it?
Yeah. So just a little bit of the backstory of the Whitetail Experience, pretty traditional start as far as a couple guys sitting around a truck one day, and we had been hunting public land and started hunting together, as a core of, say, 3. And we started to knock some bucks down. We're like, hey, let's film this. We were big fans of Whitetail Adrenaline and Curtis Zabel at Behind the Bow. And so, we said, let's take a stab at the filming thing and see what goes. The brand has kind of evolved to, the YouTube, the public land thing. We hit the boom right. And I think what also helped is we had knocked down a few good bucks before that, so we were kind of starting to become better hunters. And after year one, it was kind of full cannonball into the production side of it and wanting to produce a better than what I'll call like the handy cam YouTube community. We wanted to kind of strive for a second tier product, and then the YouTube channel, we saw value to like make and share some of our little tactic talk or just little videos on stand height or setting up mobile stuff quickly and easily, and what we found to work for us. And so the brand kind of helped. We did hit the public land boom, and A little bit of story on me is, so I was developing my skills as kind of a videographer, photographer with the Whitetail experience. And Cody DeQuisto, I had met him a year prior at ATA. He knew I was running the Stand and Sticks. He asked me to work a show here in Columbus, and pulled me aside after kind of just working the show and selling product, and said, "Hey man, I kind of see some of your photo video stuff. Do you want to start working with XOP?" And so that kind of got me rolling into that. And obviously with the birth of custom gear, they kind of believed in my skills and ability enough to work with them on that end. So that's kind of just the spiral that kind of I didn't see coming. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy
that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's the crazy thing about what we do, is just things can spiral so quickly, and you find yourself in this hot seat, and it's like, wow, like I'm living a dream now. Like I'm doing something that I've only ever dreamed about. Justin, it's probably the same for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it all started for me with an opportunity to go to Canada to film a hunt, because the guy that was scheduled to go had a looming record from when he was in college, from one. I'll cut the shit. He got arrested in college, and it's still stuck to him, and he couldn't get to Canada. People always ask, like, how do you get into the industry? How do you start in this business? Like, they're so eager to like do the one thing they have to do to get in, but it's not like there's no cause and effect of like, do this, then you'll be in. It's like, I always tell people, just don't pass up an opportunity. Take every chance you get. If it's something for free or shit money or whatever, just take the chance and do it, because you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah. Now I am still full time. Like I still have a 9 to 5.
Yep. I need one of those.
Yeah, I've heard.
Justin searching.
But it's one of those things like, could I potentially get a bounce to do this full time? I know there's some weaknesses in my game and stuff, but I think somebody could see what I'm doing and maybe take a chance or something. Like I'm definitely flirting with the line where does it make sense for me to maybe drop my day job and potentially landscape for some extra cash, and then do media 3/4 of the time. And I have thought about it. That's for sure.
What do you think, you bring up your weaknesses, and I might put you on the spot here, but what do you think your weaknesses are? I mean, is it something that just knowledge-based, or equipment, or, style? Like, what do you think those are?
So, I think like two areas come to mind quickly is editing and producing a story of footage I haven't shot, because to be honest, like until this addictions, this year, I've always put together stuff that I've shot myself. And as you know, as a field producer, when you're shooting something or if you're the one working on Project X, you're editing it in your head and you see where it's going. I feel like, that's I just don't have a lot of experience. I feel like putting together stuff that I didn't shoot, and so that would be one. And two, I think working at stuff at the next level, whether that be, if I increased some of my camera gear, I know there's always a learning curve there. I think some of my, some of the color grading might be a touch of a weakness with some of my product. I'm getting way better at sound design, so improving there. So yeah, by no means think I've got this thing figured out.
Yep. And I've been doing this for a long time as well. Like, I've been working in the industry for, I think it's been 8 years now, but before then I was still, through college and even in high school, like I've been editing for a while and kind of taught the editing side of things to myself for a while. And then when I got in with Rusted Rooster, I learned a lot from Jason Brown. He's a wizard when it comes to storyline and editing and vision. Like he really is. Like I look up to him the most for that kind of thing. But you talk about sound design. I personally, a lot of people, when they give me credit, I guess you can say, a lot of my peers and everything, they really enjoy my sound design. And now I don't think it's like top tier where it needs to be. I want to get there, but I can tell you like the progression to get there, it took me a couple years to doing that. And it wasn't something that just happened overnight. I feel like I've got a pretty good track going, I guess you could say. Like, I really needed to like focus on that. And I will tell you, I think sometimes when I was editing a piece, like the visual side of things when I was editing it might have suffered because I was so focused on audio. But the thing is like people can listen to good audio, they can't watch bad video. Does that make sense? In my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, so like the emotions, they always say, you know, people that are big into music will touch your soul. You know, like audio will, you know, drive your emotions through whatever you watch. So I really kind of took that to heart, and like, I need to focus more on this. And basically that was my number one for a long time. And then when I got to a spot where I really felt comfortable with it, it was just like, okay, now I can hone on other things as well. I don't know if that helps at all, but you know, I just kind of I just dove like headfirst into it. Was like, just, I need to do some things outside of the box I would never do. Cause I always got into this like rhythm, like I need to do this, this, and this. And it's a lot like hunting too. You know, you get into a comfort zone, you kind of got to step outside of it and do something crazy weird. And then people are like, oh, that was really cool actually. So.
Oh yeah. And I love like watching YouTube videos of guys or, you know, shorts from outside the hunting space and saying, okay, let's take this concept idea or cool shot and put it into some of my work. I actually shot a pretty cool idea the other day I saw on YouTube where 60 minutes, you got to shoot like a sizzle short and edit it all in 60 minutes and export it. Like, you know, you're allowed to gather your props for 15 minutes and then literally 60 seconds start to finish. It's kind of like a B-roll type sequence. And like me as a producer, like it pushed me. Like I was like, you know, you think about your shots and you gather your supplies and then boom, go. Like it was pretty cool. I tagged a couple people. Dylan from the Breaking Point, I tagged him. He's going to probably do it. And Grant from Last Breath TV is going to do it. Like they kind of geeked out like, oh, this is a cool idea. Let's try it too. So
that sounds like a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
It's stress, but a really cool idea though. I mean, that's something, you know, cause our life in the industry rolls around deadlines all the time. I was just talking to you off record. I'm trying to, you know, get our TV show ready for, you know, the first due dates in a month and a half. And it's like, I'm stressing over that right now. And I'm pretty far ahead right now, I feel like. So it's just like deadline all the time. I totally get it, but that's a pretty cool idea. Where did you end up seeing that at?
You know, I was just scrolling through YouTube and I'm sure like your YouTube search, it's like camera travel creators. Like it's and one of these clicked on it was like 60-minute B-roll competition or something like that. And I watched it and I was like, they had 3 roommates and they all did it for 60 minutes. And then at the end they showed their work and it's pretty cool. That
is cool. That is neat. You know, you said you have a team for the Whitetail experience. How many guys you have? 3? Did you say 3 guys?
Yeah, so it's 3 core guys, and then we have 2 guys that are kind of like part-time or you know, they just got a few things where I feel like aren't as committed as the core 3 at this point.
Yep. No, I totally get that. You know, before I started working in the industry, I had the same thing, but it was just, you know, your buddies out there doing, you know, hunting and filming it and everything. But I guess my question to you is, do you have a certain set of guidelines that you kind of put these guys under, or, you know, do you have a certain goal or, you know, train of thought? Because I just go back to what you were saying about a weakness in editing footage that, you know, you didn't shoot, which I totally get. Like, it is difficult to do that. But are you giving them a storyline or, you know, or saying you need X, Y, and Z for, you know, for this hunt or for the season?
Yeah, so like obviously the group of 3 now, when I edit like Dave's videos or his footage, like I talk to Dave every day on the phone. So like I know, one, he labels his footage really well. I've got him trained up on that aspect of things as far as like the production side of things. Same thing with Andy. And, you know, we're in so much communication. We're hunting the same pieces. I'm involved, like when they shoot deer, like I come for the drag out sequences if I'm in the same state. You know, so I'm getting some of those better drag out sequences, some of the head turns, stuff like that. Now, where I struggle, I feel like, with building somebody else's story is the whitetail addictions, where these guys are from all over kind of the Midwest, and Troy's out in Idaho. So, you know, like that's where it's like, it's pushing my skills, and I think it's been a good challenge. And I think, you know, I think 5-6 episodes in, I've found my flow and kind of my workflow there. But yeah, the core here, that to me is an easy edit. And you know, they're filming similar to me. I know the struggles they go through. They get the shots kind of related to our product with the public land thing. So that's not terrible as far as to edit and put together.
Yep, I totally get that. And that's something that you just, I know Justin's even as an editor, because Justin, I mean, you not recently, but last couple of years, you've been getting more into editing. I know you're really like thrive on the shooting side of things, but like you probably had you had that hiccup probably too. I mean, I think every editor goes through that, and just, you know, where's the storyline at, or I don't have the shot, you know, that I need. Right. And I think a lot of guys, being a shooter and an editor, like going out and shooting your stuff and then having to come back and edit it and really sit down in the bay and being like, well, shit, I didn't get that shot. Like, you'll never forget that again. Like, you'll get that shot. So I think it makes you grow as a shooter and as an editor. So I totally get that side of things as well.
Yeah. And yeah, that to me has been the, a learning curve, if you will. And sometimes I think as an editor, you got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, you know?
My God. I say that 40 times a day. It's exactly what I say.
I've actually never heard that. I'm going to put that in my one-liner bank. So I'm going to be using that.
Oh, dude, I know exactly where you're at. And like, you can tell it, like, got a little twinkle in my eye now, but that was my biggest weakness as well. However, like when I first started working at Midwest Whitetail, that was trial by fire, because everything that they produced was shot by somebody else. You know, unless you're filming for like Jared or Bill and you're editing those blogs daily, those regional shows from Midwest Whitetail, Cabela's Turkey Roost, Whitetail TV, and everything I did through that whole time there and into when it became 41 North, every single production they have is shot by somebody else. And I'm just like, when are we going to take control of this and like elevate these things? Well, honestly, you can't do it. Not unless you want to do something totally separate, removed from everything else. Like, you just got to take what you can get. And learning to edit someone else's footage was honestly what forced me into learning how to edit better in the first place. But it's also like, it's a double-edged sword, because now when I go out and shoot something that I know I'm going to edit, it's like I shoot it for the way I know it's going to be cut when I get back home. But then it takes more time in the field, and it's like, hold on, do this again, say that. Like, okay, remember that when you go to edit this clip. And like, it's a catch-22.
Yeah. I agree 100% on that. You know, and that, I always say it's just, you only can polish a turd so much, you know? So it's like, when I got in the industry, it was just, I was editing a lot of other people's shows, you know, for the first year and a half, and then got into editing a lot of the stuff that we were doing. And ever since then, it's been great. But there is times you still get that point where it's like, man, I need a shot here. I need a good transition shot. I need some B-roll, you know, and trying to focus on that too. And then you don't want to be an asshole and like tell the guys, so like Byron, I don't think you would be like, I'm going to be an asshole on this, but a lot of the guys that you're probably editing their footage, I'm going to guess are probably guys that are just, you know, everyday working class guys that go out and hunt, and they're just toting a camera with them. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, and I would say 90% of the stuff is self-filmed.
Yep.
Which is fine, because, you know, that's where I kind of come from, is some of the self-filmed side of things with Whitetail experience. But yeah, like these guys are not, not they don't have the photography, videography background, if you will, and But they, some of them are some very good hunters, and that's kind of what the show is built off of. It's the solo filming guy addicted to whitetails.
Yep. And I think it really shows, that self-film aspect. I love watching that. There's a way, it can be done in so many different ways. But there's a niche for it. And I think that'll show these guys, like, they're everyday working class guys that just love to deer hunt, and they're toting a camera with them. But, you might get a couple guys, and you probably have that. Has any of them just said, kind of, screw the camera, I'm going to kill this big ass deer yet?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I know on past episodes, I literally was looking at Heath's old footage, and he killed a slammer in Illinois, and they show the buck, on the ground. They show some of his hunt, but he does talk like, hey, I had to say screw the camera, and by no means, like, Whitetail Experience doesn't get paid to shoot deer on camera. I will be the first to say, I've worked my ass off for most of the time. That's going to be a public land buck. I'm gonna send it.
Yep. I totally get it, because you probably don't have a lot of time to hunt either, and when you do, you cherish that time. I'm in the same boat. I'm filming a lot in the fall for our TV show, which I love. I love my job, and I don't ever want it to go away, to be honest with you, because I just love being able to do it. But there is times where it's like, you know what you're there for. If you can't get it on camera, whether you're filming someone or just self-filming, that's what you're there to do, and that's what you're getting paid to do, for me, in my aspect anyway. But
I obviously have the ability to say screw it. So, but yeah, you are in a different boat. That is your job is and to be honest, like, I have filmed some of my buddies, Dave and stuff, like, and actually one of my most nervous moments in the tree, I filmed Cody on a late season hunt. We were just getting some content in general, and I remember I did not move a muscle that whole, and I purposely grabbed the saddle so I could, like, hide the camera, like, between me and the tree, and just be poking out. I was so I get nervous filming other people, I think, because there's almost more pressure on you at that point.
Oh, I remember early in the game when I was doing that same thing, like, just nervous. I'm filming the Kiefer brothers. It was that, like, first couple years, I'm like, I don't want to screw up at all. And now I've been in it, so long, and I'm pretty good friends with these guys now. It's just like, second nature, really not a lot of nerves. But I will tell you, when that animal's coming in and it's like go time, it's going to happen, I black out, like, even behind the camera. Like, I know what I'm doing, and it's just kind of like muscle memory takes over. But then when you pull your head out of that viewfinder and then you, like, reflect on it, it's like, wow, I don't remember that deer doing that, or, I filmed it, but I don't remember doing it. It's just like blackout mode, and it's just so cool. I get just as jacked to hit record, in that moment, than than killing a deer, really. It's all the other ancillary stuff that can get redundant too, like you're grinding for 3 weeks and every morning getting up and you got to get B-roll shots and time lapses. Like, that stuff can wear on a guy too, even though it's a dream job. That can wear on you.
Yeah, I go into the same blackout. I really do. I get to the point where it's like, when it's all over, I'm like, shit, did I push record?
Yep, every time. I do the same thing. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, Byron, what gear are you running? I always say too, like, with gear, I've had a lot of people ask me that are getting into it. It's like, what do I need to buy? What do I need to do? And I always say, like, start off with something that's budget friendly and learn how to tell a story first. That's like my first thing with them. But, like, what are you guys running for gear?
So currently, like, I would say the Whitetail Experience, like, I run a Sony E7 III, and I would say majority of the time I've got a 28-75 on there. That's kind of like the workhorse camera. That's what I take most of the time. Now, I will say this, as a self-filmer, I also look at our product and realize, if I've hunted with that thing for a couple of days and I don't have, like, what I call deer footage, I will take I've got let's see here. I have a bridge camera by Panasonic that I will take, and it's got a built-in like 25 to 400. And I will use that sometimes because it's funny, the Whitetail experience, like our first year filming, you know, we had the handy cams, the Sonys and the Canon Vixias of the world. And that video on YouTube has like, I don't know, 80,000 views, and it's rough. And,
Yep.
But it's got a lot of deer footage. And like, if you read the comments, people are like, man, where are you guys hunting all these public bucks? And like, we captured some cool stuff. And then we went the DSLR route. And yes, our polished product got better, and the you know, the quality, the colors, the depth of field, all that stuff like really looks good. But we noticed like we lacked in deer footage.
Yeah.
You know, because when you get that, you know, when you have those encounters with bucks, let's say between 50, 100 yards in the timber, we just weren't capturing it. And so we literally almost on a, kind of a hunt by hunt basis, depending what we think we need, we'll flirt around between a couple cameras. Dave runs a 70 or 80D with like a 24 to 200, I think. That's kind of his workhorse. Andy, I think, still got a T5i with like an 18 to 135.
Yep.
So yeah, nothing over the top on Whitetail experience. I've got, you know, a Mavic drone, a couple other lenses. What else do I use a lot of? A lot of shotgun mics, because, you know, it's public land. So do you really want to bring multiple mics to the stand?
Right.
No, you got stand and sticks on your back going into film. You got a headlamp in the dark. Like,
Yep.
you know, that it adds a whole jack around factor. And that's always like in my mind. Yes, I want to produce a good product, but we got to kill deer too.
Yep. I definitely get it. Especially in your situation, like you said, like, we're not getting paid to do this. So you're almost out there working at your favorite hobby. It's like almost your job, and you don't want it to turn into work either. So I always say keep it simple, you know, as the best you can. If it means not putting the lav mic on every time because it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it, then leave the lav at home. It just depends on what product you want to put out there too. So it's like, do you want, you know, I kind of put Rock House Motion at, you know, as the standard. You know, they're really high end, you know, and they're always going to do things.
Did you watch that film they just put out the other day?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I saw the preview for it yesterday. Is it good?
Yeah, there's literally no voiceover. It's all sound design. Matt White. Matt White just destroyed that thing. It's all like super high speed. It's all sound design, sound effects. Like, it's badass.
Yep.
Go to Early Riser Coffee YouTube and watch it. It's insane.
Yeah, I saw the preview for it, and I need to go take a look at it. But like I said, like, they're kind of the standard for the high end things, and it just depends on like where you want to fall in that YouTube realm. But like, being one guy, you can still be high end, but you know, it's a different high end to me. You know, being one guy in a solo mission, it's you kind of have to have some give and take.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that stands out to me that does a very, very good job at that, like being a solo mission type of guy who's a phenomenal producer, is Joe Sir.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything he does films. I mean, he does projects for companies and brands, and you know, he does, you know, hit that upper tier of producers in my opinion. But even when he films his own hunts, or just like burning his CRP fields with his family on the weekend, or whatever the case may be, like, he doesn't cut any corners. He's one of those guys who by himself just kills it every time.
Yeah,
But I'm like you. Like, I'm packing everything in. I'm ditching the wireless. I'm going shotgun. I'm running autofocus. I'm running auto white balance. Like, I want to run that camera one-handed. And I did it for the first time last weekend. I killed the turkey off camera. I said, screw it. Camera stay in the truck. I'm going to go hunt. That's it.
It ended up being an awesome turkey hunt too, and he felt really bad about not having it on there.
Yeah. The day I killed my buck this year, it was the two hunts prior to, maybe the three. We had like snow rain mixes, and so I would take my cheaper camera because, one, I can't take the loss. But as soon as I killed him, dude, I ran. I packed my stand sticks to the truck, went and got the Sony that was in the truck, which is kind of scary at times, but went and grabbed it for all the recovery. Obviously I wanted photos, like, just like with hunting, when you look at your, as a solo producer, sometimes you gotta, this phrase sticks with me. You got to do what's hard and do what's right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And
100%.
I agree 100% on that. I just lost a train of thought here. You were saying something and I had it and now I don't have it. I'm sorry. I just got sidetracked, but I'm going to kind of do a hard transition, I guess. But
yeah,
talking about, self-filming and everything. And I just saw that Custom Gear just came out with that pocket arm. And Justin and I were just talking about this pocket arm this morning on the phone. That thing looks legit for like a solo producer. Have you been using that at all? Because I know you doing the Whitetail Addiction, so all those guys are probably running them. Is that correct?
So that obviously last season when a lot of Addictions was filmed, that was not out. The prototype I think was running around with Cody and Andre all fall, but like that's only the guys that got hunting experience with it. I've been playing with it here. I think I've had mine 2 to 3 weeks. I just put a review out. I love how easy that thing sets up jack around factor. Cause I've owned 4 camera arms in 4 years. I'm never happy.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And so I think for the guy packing, like the design and again, the jack around factor of doing it, because I put a post out the other day because, some guys are talking about it. It looks a little bouncy for the DSLR guys. And I'm like, dude, you got to think it's going to be November 8th. You've gotten up 5 out of the last 6 mornings early. You're packing in, anywhere from a quarter to a mile, in the dark. You're grinding through this rut. You're moving stands midday, or you should be, or you do it most days, whatever. Like the last thing on your mind is, oh man, my camera arm's bouncing just a touch. Now, that being said, I have been in talks with Andre, and obviously I'm very close to the source. There's going to be a DSLR style. They're going to make it solid. And there's going to be some tweaks for what I call that mid-level, guy running the mid-level lenses that wants to solo film. There's going to be a model come out that can accommodate a little more weight with ease.
Okay, so that's good to hear,
Nice.
because I might have to wait or hold off then, because so this the pocket arm you have right now, is it just with an A7 III? And I know a lot of people listening to this probably don't know what an A7 III is. A Sony A7 III is just your DSLR. It's not even that big of a DSLR. It just depends on what lens you want to put on it. Then it can start getting bulky. But for relatively, it's pretty small camera. I mean, with an A7 III and let's say like a 70 to 200 Canon, or doesn't matter brand lens, is it too big for that pocket arm? So
I would say the 70 to 200 is right on the line. Like I would say wait until this second model comes out. I think the guys with, some of those smaller, like what is it, the 18 to 105, that lens right now will work. But like anybody with like a Canon Vixia, like what's this Panasonic H770 or whatever.
Yeah, they all have weird numbers. I don't even know how to keep track of them all.
Some of like the medium range bridge style cameras, like this will do, for the YouTube self filmer, and especially like the mobile guy. Like I think that's where it is. And then guys like, I was talking to Dan Baez out of the Tineman, a web show, the Tineman, and him and I, we talk shop all the time. And I'm like, hey, just, wait until this second model comes out, because he's running, a similar setup to myself. And I think he would be a touch happier, with what I'll call the DSLR model that'll come out, and that should be public by the time this thing airs. So
cool. Awesome. Justin, were you going to say something? I know you were trying to chime in there.
No, I don't remember what it was.
I got you. Yeah, I was just interested about that pocket arm. I love the design of it. Obviously, it's nothing that I can use with our camera setup, where I'm running an A7 II actually for the main camera, but we got a Metabones on it because we run a 50 to 500 Sigma lens, so it's a really big lens. And
bazooka.
Yeah, it's basically a bazooka up there, and then you throw your mic setup on it and the cage and all that stuff, and it gets pretty big. So the pocket arm, definitely not for something like that, which we use the big muddy arms, which, over the years, it's more of a pain in the ass. Like, I got to take this and I got to put it up in the tree, but you get proficient with it, and you know how to cut some corners. But if you want solid footage, I mean, that's the way to go. Definitely, if you got a bigger camera.
Yeah.
But for self-filming, because I will do a lot of self-filming around my farms here in Michigan, just because when we're home off the road, I really don't want to ask any of the other guys to come film me, because they want to go hunting too. So just grab a self-filming rig, and that's kind of what I'm looking for, is an arm for that, really.
Yeah. So if you're willing to run a shotgun mic and like the mid-level lens, I definitely I could see that being nice, because also, dude, it throws right in the bag.
I know. Yeah, you could put it in your pocket, like they said, pocket arm, like the back pocket.
Yeah. I run that little man flip over there. It's sweet. Well,
I want one just to try it out, and because I know I'll use it. I freaking lugged around. So I lugged around my Lone Wolf Alpha, 5 sticks, an XF 400, a fluid head, wireless mic, shotgun mic, extra batteries, GoPro, the Joby, the little Joby Gorilla Pod deal for my second angle, plus all my hunting stuff, my bow, my headlamp, my rattling horns, my grunt tube, release, half a dozen arrows, and the muddy. It's not the outfitter, it's the middle level muddy tree arm. Yep. It was the day before I shot that buck this year. I was like, I'm done with this crap. Like, I can't do this. Like, I'm defeated. Throwing a towel, I quit. I admit it. I'm done. And then, of course, sun rose the next day, and I was like, no, I got to do it. I got to take it.
Yep. And I've got the Muddy Outfitter arm as well, and I haven't used it much. It's the smallest Muddy arm, and honestly, it packs well, for having a base that you have to put on the tree and then an arm in that, which I think it's a solid arm, and I've got a smaller Manfrotto for it. But if you want to be like light and mobile and really get after it and kind of keep it simple, like that pocket arm, that's the cat's ass. Like, that's something that I can't wait to get something like that in my hands.
Yeah. Justin, I can't believe you're running around with all that, man. That'll wear on you. Like, your bag has to be mid 40s to 50 pounds.
Yeah. No, it was. And it was pack in every time. There was a handful of times, like, throughout the season where I left a stand in just because I hunted it, the next morning from an evening hunt, whatever. But I would just carry out the bottom 2 sticks so nobody could reach it. And I'd walk in the next day. And just the fact that the camera arm was already in the tree with the stand hung, and I was like, oh, my God, this is like being on vacation. Like, I could handle this, but holy shit, man.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. It is a grind to pack in, hang stands every, in and out, and then film it on top of that. I think, I kind of think that's, that's an aspect to it. You don't see a lot of guys doing that. You see even less guys doing it and filming it,
Yeah, honestly, like, it's so much. Like, you're in there to film the hunt, and just filming yourself walking in is like, screw that. I'm already committed to, I'm not going that far with it. Like, I'll film the hunt, but next thing you know, you got 20 minutes of B-roll just walking in and filming your setup, and then you go to organize that footage, and it's like, shit, I got 20 gigs of footage just, before I even see my first deer. Screw this. Yeah,
it does get redundant, and it does you always look at it, like you said, you get up and it's like, gosh, I gotta, I want to go hunting so bad, but it's like, I gotta take all that crap in with me, and my bed feels good, I'll just go back to sleep. It's just so easy to do that, or just not even take it and just go hunting. But then you feel guilty when you shoot something or have a good experience and you don't have it. I totally get all that. So keeping it simple. Like, I personally, a lot of people are against GoPros, but the new GoPros are solid, and I personally like the vlog style of storytelling, like going to that vlog style, POV, telling your story with that, and then obviously telling your story with your B-roll shots, and then when you get into the tree's just, that's just self-explanatory. You got your big camera for that, but having a GoPro, and you don't have to worry about focus, and they make, good shotgun mics for them now, and, the quality of them are, some of the quality on those are better than probably your handy cams and maybe possibly some DSLRs. So I really like that aspect as well.
Yeah. The only thing I wish GoPros did different was like you still got that little bit of a fisheye view. Like it's such a wide angle lens on there. Like I wish you could get rid of that fisheye, but still keep the angle that it gives you.
So when you're editing in Premiere, you can get rid of that with an effect. I don't know if you knew that.
I guess not.
So so in Premiere you can go into your effects. And Byron, do you use Adobe Premiere to edit?
I am actually a Final Cut guy right now.
Oh man, I did Final Cut forever, and then went to Premiere, and it was like a vacation. It was great. But no, go into Premiere and then go into the effects, and it's just type in GoPro into the effects and find the GoPro that, like, if you're shooting it on, let's say like a 3+, like a Hero 3+ or something like that, and it'll give you options like 1080 wide. Click on that, put it on your clip, and it takes the fisheye away.
Huh. See, I didn't know that. That's
there
good.
You go.
That's great to know. There I go.
So
damn.
Learn something new every day, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's your pro tip right there. I like
pro
that.
Tip of the day. Brought to you by
pro tip of the day.
Brought to you by Banks Outdoors.
America's Best Bowstrings.
There you go. America's Best Bowstrings. Brought to you by America's Best Bowstrings. Yeah, so Byron, you're using Final Cut, huh? Which I learned on Final Cut. Avid was my first one, and then Final Cut. Really liked Final Cut. My only thing with Final Cut I didn't like is you had to basically encode all your footage before it could even import it, and it's probably changed since then. So basically you had to convert all your footage to a certain codec before to bring it in. Do you still have to do that?
Oh, it kind of depends on your import process and what you want to do, I guess. That one, the best answer is it depends.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, it was just when we went from that to Premiere, like Premiere, it did not, because we were running like Canon 5Ds, we were running GoPros, we were running PMW 200s and 300s, EX1s, and each file had a different, codec or it was a different file. So when you go into Premiere, you had to like convert all that stuff to, I want to say it was like an MOV or something. I can't remember. It was been so long ago, but when we went to Premiere, and honestly, the reason why we went to Premiere was because you could just bring all those files in without converting them, and it took, it saved you a lot of time. And then, after we went to Premiere, I kind of had to teach myself. We all kind of had to teach ourselves. And honestly, if I was to take a test on how to run Premiere, I'd probably fail, because the thing that they did wrong, it's great that they did it, but for me, that's wrong. You can go in there and adjust your quick keys, and it gives you an option to have the same quick keys as Final Cut did. So I just went there, so it was like wasn't any different for me. But I don't know any Premiere shortcuts. I switched them all to Final Cut and have not learned, so I kind of do it the ghetto way, but it works for me, and I'm effective that way. So but I don't want to take any tests on Premiere.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's really cool. So your main camera's a Sony A7 III. Are you running a Sony lens as well? Is that what you're running?
I have some Sony lenses. I also, I guess my 28 to 75 there, that's a Tamron actually, which, it's kind of a budget friendly, purchase. But, like I actually, I guess full disclosure, like I was running a Canon 80D before this or whatever. And my house got broken into, and so my drone was gone.
Oh, man.
A couple lenses gone. Dude, they took a hard drive. Like it was, 2019 was a year of recovery as far as some media stuff.
That sucks. Oh, man.
Yeah. I was working on a video that morning before work. And so like obviously I had my desk lined up with a few cameras, lenses, like my stuff was out. It was so they kicked in the door, and I lost some dollars, that's for sure.
Shoot. That's
Jeez.
Never good, man. And you got to be like sick to your stomach when you come home and see that, and it's like, oh,
that's
God.
like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it really is.
When I was living in Texas years ago, I had my house broken into when I was gone for a weekend, and my neighbor thought I was dead. He calls me and he's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I thought you were laying in your house like with your head split open." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Your front door's open and like your TV's gone and like there's shit all over your living room." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh man.
And I was in San Antonio, so I was like, I had a 4-hour drive home to think like my house just got broken into. And you might have felt the same way about this. And it took me forever to get comfortable in my own house again. Like I still like slept with one eye open for like months,
locking every door and everything.
Oh my dude, it was like so unnerving. Like I know who it was. There was no proof of it. Yeah. So they couldn't do anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I took a hit 2019. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna upgrade my body, and I'm gonna buy one lens right now because financially that's all I got. I didn't have I do this as a side business. So I'm like, okay, what can I maximize my production value with right away, get me up and running until I can kind of, either get another lens and then like a month later buy a drone, like I had to really, and I was I had built my skills enough on that ADD to make the jump to, I guess, a higher caliber camera, and be able to shoot some of the some of the 120s, shooting some of the logs and, my skills, that's something that I feel like I've upgraded as my skill set and abilities have upgraded. And so that's what I've done in 2019. So
that's cool, man. I just remembered what my train of thought was that I lost back, 15 minutes ago was, you killed a great buck on public land last year. It was public land, right?
Yep.
Okay.
The last couple years.
Yep. I remember seeing the footage. I mean, he was a solid buck. I remember seeing it on YouTube. I kind of want to pick your brain about, self-filming it. And I'm sure you've probably killed more deer before that self-filming. But what was your thought process? Like that you're grinding, and then it all comes together and you get it on camera and you're like jacked and it's a great buck. Like, what is your emotions doing it? I mean, because I've been there and I kind of want to pick your brain on it and see how what you felt like. And I know Justin's been there a lot more than I have, but, like it's just to me, it was just more than what it would be without a camera. Like it's just this sense of accomplishment. And I can only imagine on public land, it had to even be even more than that. So like, what were you thinking and what were you feeling?
Oh man, dude, that's, I'll never forget that day. I guess to rewind like a week to 10 days, let's see here, when did I kill that deer? Like the 9th or 10th. So I actually missed my biggest bow buck to date, November 2nd on public land, like similar area, actually not far from where I encountered this buck, but I missed him. And my hunting partner, Dave, missed a giant at 7 yards the same day. We both missed our biggest deer 2 days with a bow. On the same day. So you fast forward, it's I think pardon me if my days are off, but it's the 7th, right? Snowstorm came in, it is cold. I've decided, I'm in this pinch, good buck sign around me. I look down, I've got a solid track. I actually got out of the tree at noon just to warm up to look at this track a little better. I'm like, dude, that's a good track. There could be a good one come through here today. And that's, that snow is like 24 hours old. So that track's not old. So I come back up the tree and it's like 2:00 and I see, this buck and I, at first glance, I'm like, I think that's a good one. Bino's confirmed. He's a shooter. I'm hunting public land. I'm kind of looking somewhere in that 130-ish range. So I glass this deer. He moves from say 120 yards to about 60. And I'm, in my head, at that point, I'm like, dude, he's coming through the pinch. I've got current buck sign, years over buck sign, and tracks. Like he's coming. Like this deer's, I'm gonna get cracked. And then he scoots straight up the hill and for no rhyme or reason. And I had no idea why he did that. And so I was like, all right. So November 8th, next day, I put the game plan together, look at what the wind's doing. And he had passed between this beech tree and this down log. And so I kind of came in a totally different route. And I said, if he repeats that, I'm going to shoot him, like I've got a chance. And sure enough, this day he was earlier. I think it was like 10:30ish. And I look over my shoulder and I see, a solid cage. I'm like, that's him. Like, autopilot, boom. Camera goes to shooting lane. I back that lens all the way out from a self-filming perspective. And I grab my bow and I get ready, I think part of the self-filming aspect is it is tough. You're not going to get a Lee and Tiffany or Heartland bow hunter kill shot nice and tight. You gotta back that lens out on the deer you want to kill.
Yeah.
So he actually comes through, and it's funny. I came up this bluff, and I knew ground scent could be a problem, with how I was going to come in there. But I also thought it was the best route not to let him know I'd come in there. And he catches my ground scent, and you can see this in the film. He kind of hunches like, oh, fuck. And like literally that arrow is being sent as he like hunches up like, oh shit, I just caught a track. Like,
that's awesome.
I'm watching it right this second. Like I pulled it up as soon as you started talking. I'm watching that shot right now.
Okay. Yeah. So it hits him and he jumps over this crack, runs like 40 yards. I'm like, dude, he's got to go down. That, I kind of heard that pop noise. Like, I'm like, dude, he's got to go down. Right. Like, and then he trots off slowly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like just you gotta be kidding me. Like I already had this happen this year where I messed up on a buck. Surely that was a good shot. So second guessing like nobody's business. And if you watch kind of that post shot, interview, get down out of the tree sequence, like you could tell like I'm a little reserved at this point because I don't know if you can hear it right now. I'm an animated person. I get fired up.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you though, man. If you don't get fired up, why are we doing this then?
Yeah. So I blood tracked this deer with no lungs, ran 200 yards, dude.
Holy cow!
Now I will say this: he ran towards the truck, which is a blessing.
That's perfect.
He did, he did die in this like bluffy crack of a ravine, like And so when I find him, I glassed him, and so I thought he was down. And I get, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to film anything just yet, because I don't want him to get up and run. So I get down there about 15 yards, and I glass him for a solid, 10 seconds, just make sure I don't see any chest movement. And then I pull out the camera as I'm walking up to really, capture what I'm seeing and feeling at that point in time. And I think if anybody watches the film, I think I bleep out an F-bomb, but you can just see like he's bigger than I thought he was. So that's always good when that happens.
For sure.
He's got a pretty cool bladed G2. And so I just, lose my shit.
That's awesome. Awesome. Now, is that your biggest buck to date?
So no, so the prior year I killed a touch bigger 10.
Okay.
That is a bigger 8. I'm trying to think. So yeah, he's like 136 as an 8. Pretty good mass and bladed G2. That's. I killed a 10 or 2018 October, like 2 sticks high, and that was a pretty cool buck. And that is my biggest to date. That deer's I think he's like 20 inches wide. Like he's pretty cool.
Oh wow, that's a sweet deer. I love wide deer.
Dude, I'll shoot 100-incher if he's 20 inches wide.
I agree.
Yeah, I let one of those walk.
You did. Justin let him walk.
I hate that.
I gave him shit for 5 days after that for not shooting that deer.
Yeah.
You'll get that on those bigger jobs, though. I understand. You're in Iowa.
Yeah, I cared too much. I was like, yeah, he's a young deer. I was thinking of like a mature buck hunter, not a self-filmed, busted my balls. It's November 10th. Public land hunter, self-filming hunter. I was like, no, I'm good. I can do better.
What trips your trigger? Do you if he like, I don't know, if he had a drop time to 6 inches, or if he had a chocolate, right. Is there something that trips your trigger? I'm a wide buck guy myself.
Man, I'll tell you the one thing I would shoot hands down. I don't care what the circumstance might have been. Big 8s get me. If my personal mission, like if someday I shoot 150-inch 8-point, that's my unicorn for my hunting career. I think that would do more for me than shooting a 200.
Nice. Okay. See, that's. I think that's cool. I'm with you. I think big 8s are cool. Obviously, My inches are a little different, but yeah, like I think whatever trips your trigger, man, I think you're you're allowed to say that.
I'm right there with you.
That's just it.
Yeah, I agree.
I started singing a different tune though after that happened. Like I watched the footage, I was like, "You dumbass!" Like he walked under the tree. It was 7:00 in the morning. I just knocked an arrow. It's whatever. It's on my YouTube channel. Anybody can check out that hunt. But I was sick. I was like, "Why did you do that?" And then I started singing the tune of like, "What trips my trigger is one that's in frame, in focus, and in range. That's the one that gets shot."
Totally agree, man.
Nothing wrong there.
I'll give you shit every day for it, though.
That good. Keep me honest.
I got to ground you.
I got something to give you shit for.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I want to hear it on record.
Yeah, oh, well, this is coming out live. Everybody that hears this needs to comment. Aaron had his first Mountain Dew today.
I did.
He violated his New Year's resolution.
I'm drinking it right now. Yeah, it's right now. It's what are we? May 8th. May 8th, first pop. I literally just I'm sipping right now. There it is.
Yeah, it's weird to be recording a podcast, not drinking beers.
I know. I feel weird. I don't have a bush light on me right now. Yeah, I'm May 8th, first pop of 2020. I'm not saying it's gonna be a thing, but my New Year's resolution is still, I guess you could call me a failure, I guess, but I've went, just about 5.5 months without one, so here I am.
Hey, every addict has a relapse. It's just, you got to start over. That's it.
The first stages of it right here. I can't promise you what's going to happen in the fall, though, because the fall gets to the point where it's like, you need a pick-me-up. You need some comfort food, and to me, Mountain Dew, Fountain Pop Mountain Dew is comfort food, so.
Yeah,
we all got our crutches.
I get that, dude. I'm a sucker for the Little Debbies come deer season.
What's your go-to? What do you got that's like your demise?
I don't know about my demise, but I guess like I actually found my wife. She's kind of we kind of do some health nutrition stuff, but she found me these little chocolate caramel guys with 50 milligrams of caffeine in them. And that was like my rut, like, all day sits, like that was my little treat to pick me up, say somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock.
Okay. Yep.
And I think they're called wake bars or like wake candies. I don't know, but dude, like that's my little like tree stand, like in the grind of the rut. That's what takes me to that place right there.
I've got a couple
things.
Things.
They've got a little owl on the package.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, those are the ones?
Yep.
I know what you're talking about.
It's called Awake Chocolate, Awake Energy.
Okay, yeah. So my rut grinding, like obviously like you guys, like we're running on low sleep. So generally I see a lot of deer actually, I think between like 10 and noon. We made a joke this year that like we might as well get out of the stand at 3 o'clock because we I don't know. We just don't see a lot of deer during the rut in the evenings. I think we set up in these bedding areas, pinch points. I really think even with our shifts midday, like we suck at finding deer in the evening in the rut. But like I will come down out of my tree stand at like noon and I will sleep at the base of the tree for like 30 minutes, like catch a power nap, and then I will pop one of those wake bars for the second half of the day.
Oh, that's a pretty good idea.
I like it.
I never even thought of like getting down and just taking a little snooze right there.
Dude, Bill Winke does it all the time.
Really?
I'll get snaps from Drake or Cooper, or whoever's filming him. Like, he'll just, like, even in a redneck, he'll just lay down on the floor in the redneck for 15 minutes, take a little snoozer. He'll climb to the bottom of the tree, take a nap.
If I'm in a blind, I'll be right there. I'll start sawing logs right there.
Yeah.
But you got to do that sometimes. Just the only thing to keep you sane and not get sick. The weather's changing, the temperature, it's just a disaster. It's the recipe for getting sick, because you're up early, up late, and it's crazy.
And I feel like I've killed a few deer on like I'm a working guy, so I take 7 days for the rut. Dude, I am notorious for killing deer on that like 7th day of rutcation. So like by taking like a 30 to even 60-minute power nap every day, like does that allow me to keep grinding and hunting and hunting those harder to get to spots because I'm a little bit fresher? I feel like it definitely does. And you're not leaving a lot of ground scent if you just literally get off your last step and sit within 5 yards of your tree.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's a great idea. I might have to do that. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to point out that these Awake caffeinated chocolate bars, they're on Amazon. We're
getting all sorts of pro tips today, guys.
Yeah, this one's
they're
brought to you
available
by
in 4 flavors.
4 flavors. What are the flavors?
Caramel, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and peanut butter. And you can get them in a 12-pack count for $20, or the 72 count pack for $110.
Okay. That's a bit pricey. My wife must have bought those and I didn't know about them.
Hey, anything I can do to like not be dependent on Monsters and pre-workout for 3 months straight, I'll try it.
I'm more of I really enjoy some Pink Lemonade Mountain Ops Ignite. I'll pop one of those, like just throw a scoop in my water, and it gives me a bolt of energy, and I don't know. And honestly, I just love the taste of it too, so that's my deal.
No, I've looked at that product a few times. Justin, I don't know about you, but like I have a late relationship with like my rut bag, if you will. When you go for the all day sits, like I feel like my bag size, I need more because I got to bring my lunch and my water, and it's just dude, like heavier items, and obviously the rut gets colder, more gear, and I hate it, but I need those things, and so like I have really looked at that some of the nutrition side of the little water mixes, if you will.
Yep,
for sure.
No, they're worth it. I don't know. I think I've gotten immune to the like the quick pick me ups. Like I go straight to pre-workout now just for the sake of getting a little zing. It's pretty bad.
Well, boys, we are coming up on an hour here. I wanted to try to keep it around an hour. I know I got to get back to doing work and try to get these shows done. Byron, I'm sure you need some stuff to do, and Justin, he's just kind of over there, just I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But Byron, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on and doing this, and in short notice. I mean, you and I just started talking 2 days ago about it, and I appreciate you doing this. For anybody that's looking to get into the whitetail experience, YouTube and IG and social channels, can you kind of direct them where to go?
Yeah. Look us up. I guess our Instagram handle is the whitetail_experience, black orange logo there, and then same thing on YouTube, and then obviously some of the custom gear work that sizzles, the teasers, that's me as well. And Whitetail Addictions we're hoping to have out here in the midsummer time frame. So
cool.
Anybody who's wanting to kind of see a self-filmer show and some average Joes killing some really good deer, and I think it'll go well this year, and there'll be a little sizzle. I've cut up enough clips that people are messaging me that they're like, hey, we saw a tease the other day, are you editing that? I must have a little bit of my flair to it. So
there you go.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. I can't wait to see that come out. I listened to the DeQuistal series the other day, and I think Cody, said, or who did they have? And was it one of the other producers they had on not too long ago?
So it's the staff director, Justin. So
yep.
He's involved. Obviously, he gives the final, or him and Andre give the final okay to the episodes.
Yep, and I think they said, I could be way wrong, but like end of June maybe. Does that sound right when they're going to start rolling out?
Yeah. I could see it June or even maybe mid to early June. It kind of depends how much I can get done. Do I stop turkey hunting to get some of this stuff done?
Yep. So, well, very cool, man. We'll be looking forward to that, and let's stay in touch, and maybe we can do this again. And I really like the aspect of just talking about the producing side of things. Is kind of a different change for us, and I think we need to do it more, and a lot of people enjoy that. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, and I would love to have you guys. We just started doing a podcast very low level, but like it's kind of in the wheelhouse. And Aaron, especially some of your TSI work that you've done on a small parcel, that's something I'd love to dive into. And Justin, you're right in the wheelhouse in general, from self-filming, public land, blah, blah, blah. Like that's the kind of guys I'm looking forward to talk with, just because that conversation is Yeah, both those are I feel like the core of what follows us. So yeah, definitely have to return and have you guys on.
Yeah, let us know.
That'd be awesome.
Anytime. I love networking, and I know Justin does, and it'll help out your podcast, help out our podcast, and I'm big on that. So let's do that, man.
All right, very good. Again, guys, thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.